once again, if you are from the YouTube side of things watching this video and don't know about my thread on the subreddit called DFS Sports, 1SDF Sports, I make a post on here every game. It's called Locks of the Day, NBA Finals. This one will be Game 3. We absolutely destroy showdown slates. We talk strategy. You can ask me whatever you want. Um, talk, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do some big things for next season, probably for the start of the NFL season. So, yeah, just make sure you check out my post. If you ever need help with anything, let me know. I post all the injury updates, let you know who I like based off that news. What I can pull up for you guys. Game 1, we had someone ship the Millie. And then obviously everyone else crushed. And then game 2, everyone crushed again. We are absolutely destroying the playoffs. Absolutely making infinite money. So make sure you come over here, check it out, talk to me. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you can message me on Reddit or you can message me over on Twitter. Either or is completely fine for me. And I have some tilting to do. So if you guys don't know, I tilt. I'm very unprofessional. I curse a lot. I don't care about the YouTube shit. My shit isn't monetized. I don't want to make money off this. I'm just trying to talk sports, trying to talk DFS, unfiltered. First off, let's talk about how insane we've been crushing every sport. Call of Duty, absolutely destroying Call of Duty. Cash in MLB. More Call of Duty caches. NASCAR, absolutely crushing NASCAR. What else? Absolutely crushing the NBA Finals. Let's take a look at my lineups from that night. I was in first place in the big DPP. I was in first place in this. I was winning $2,000 until the game blew out and the starters got pulled. The blowout cost me infinite money. Infinite money. I think I was winning like $5,000 at one point until in the fourth quarter until the starters got pulled out. And then all the Looney people, all the Jordan Poole people, all the who else? Bielitsa people got there and passed me. Just infinite pain. All right, let's go over my lineups. So I went Tatum in the captain, Steph, Jaylen Brown, Draymond Green, Derek White, Gary Payton. And then I went Jason Tatum in the captain, Steph Curry, Jaylen Brown, Draymond Green, Otto Porter Jr. over Derek White, and then Gary Payton. Overall, very good night. Yeah, like I said, just make sure, come over to here. We crush absolutely everything. You're seriously missing out if you're not going over to the Reddit and talking to me or anyone else that posts content, because it's the best free content out there, in my opinion. 100%. So, yeah. Let's go over the slate, guys. So, we'll go over Golden State first. Golden State at Boston. Boston is 7th in pace and 2nd defensive rating. So, you guys are going to hear me repeat a lot of things, because it's a showdown slate. It's the same thing every day, basically, but some pricing has been adjusted. So, just bear with me. Like, a lot of the stuff I'm going to be saying is very similar, but let's take a look at the rotation here for game 2. So, interesting to note here. Jordan Poole barely played until the blowout. He played all of the fourth quarter, only played 22 minutes total while playing the whole fourth. I called Bielitsa being into the rotation. I literally called it. Now, I do think he would have gotten this fourth quarter stint. Maybe just not that long of a stint. So I think we can still expect around 10. Well, no, we can't. I'll go over it a little bit. And then we saw Kevon Looney lose minutes. Only played 21. Probably wouldn't have got this fourth quarter shift, so probably would have only played around 18. And then we saw what else? We saw Gary Payton play huge first half minutes. He played like 14 first half minutes. We saw Otto Porter Jr. lose minutes, but I would think he would have gotten this fourth quarter stint here. So he would have probably played around 20. And then obviously we are seeing huge minutes for Draymond Green. And then for the Boston side of things, so we saw Daniel Tice in the regular rotation. Minutes wise for him, if he didn't get this fourth quarter blowout run, probably around 10 to 12. And then we saw, who else did we saw? We saw Grant Williams get extended a little bit more, but he played in the blowout as well. And we saw Peyton Pritchard get regular rotational minutes. So guys, I definitely suggest you should be going over after every game, going over to Popcorn Machine. You should be looking at these rotations. You should be studying everything. It will definitely make you a better DFS player. So Golden State at Boston. I already went over defense and um, pace and defensive rating. So let's do this. Steph Curry, 11K. I don't think the price went up enough for him, right? I sound like a broken record by saying this, but with how Golden State's running their offense, with how they're utilizing Steph Curry right now, it's just very, very hard for me to fade him. And with how much they're passing the ball around, his peripheral stats are going up. I think at a close game, he's probably playing 35 to 38 minutes. Obviously, he's the only one on Golden State pretty much doing everything for the team right now. Klay Thompson can't hit a damn shot. So yeah, I think Steph looks great here. I definitely do think Tatum is the more optimal approach. I definitely think Tatum is the more safer approach. But I absolutely love both. And like I said, with how Golden State's running their offense, Steph Curry's floor plus ceiling is just insane right now. So yeah, you're getting a guy with a pretty high floor right now. You're getting a guy with like a 60 plus fantasy point ceiling. And you're getting a guy that's still underpriced, in my opinion. So I think Steph Curry looks great. Now, I'm not going to expect him to keep averaging 3 steals a game, but I'm also expecting him not the game to stay close and him playing him normal minutes. So maybe that balances out a little bit. But yeah, absolutely love Steph Curry on this slate. Klay Thompson is more boomer bust. Like Klay Thompson 7'4", you would think is kind of underpriced, but for his ceiling, his ceiling is definitely 40 to 50 plus. Like if he goes out there and has a ceiling game at 7.4K, he's going to be needed. Like 50 plus from a guy at 7.4K on a showdown slate is an absolute giga smash. It's an absolute he broke the slate type of thing. And Klay Thompson definitely has that kind of upside. Just more often than not, he is definitely going to kill your lineup. So if you're doing single entry stuff, it's kind of hard for me to get to Klay Thompson. It really depends on your risk tolerance, I guess. But yeah, Klay Thompson for me, nothing more than a contrarian play. But still, he definitely does have the upside to break the slate. Just in my opinion, more often than not, he is going to hurt your lineup. Andrew Wiggins, 7.2K, kind of had a quiet game last game. The blowout definitely didn't help either. I think minutes wise for him, 35 plus. Obviously, he's a very good defender, good rebounder. He's being aggressive on the offensive end. I think he turns it around here. I think his ownership is going to drop. So I definitely do like Andrew Wiggins for tournaments. And I actually kind of like Andrew Wiggins over Draymond Green this week because Draymond Green is going to get all the ownership in tournaments. Now, straight up, if you asked me who I like more between Draymond Green and Wiggins, it would be Draymond Green, like 1,000%. I like a lot more than Wiggins. But when you consider ownership and how over-owned Draymond Green is going to be and how under-owned Wiggins is going to be, maybe for large field tournaments, I give the edge to Wiggins. But yeah, Wiggins is a guy that's been extremely consistent so far in the playoffs. One bad game is not going to get me off him. Like I said, he's probably going to play close to 40 minutes. He's going to be aggressive on the offensive end. He's a good rebounder. He's a good defender. You know, he can just stuff the stat sheet. So I definitely do like Andrew Wiggins at 7.2K. And then once again, I don't know why Draymond Green's price didn't go up. I absolutely love Draymond Green on the slate. He's the best mid-range play on the slate, in my opinion. Absolutely fucking love Draymond Green. You know, he's a guy that can get you blocks. He's a guy that can get you steals. He's a guy that can get you rebounds. He's a guy that can get you assists. He's a guy that can get you points. A guy that has triple double upside. A guy that, you know, basically does everything for the team. They are running a lot of their offense through him as well. And I like, you know, I like everything about it, right? Also, another thing, Looney is losing minutes. So with Looney losing minutes, Draymond Green is playing more at the 5. So that also boosts his floor. It also boosts his ceiling. So I absolutely love Draymond Green. Absolutely love. Kevon Looney, I mean, this guy is just pissing me off, man. Still continues to get there after losing minutes with all those Golden State guys back. He he would have only played around 18 minutes if he didn't get that blow around. So Kevon Looney is nothing more than a contrarian play for me. I'm expecting him to continue to lose minutes and probably play around 20. So yeah, he's not going to continue to go for 3 blocks and a steal, 3 steals and a block. So yeah, I want nothing to do with Looney personally, but if you want to continue to ride the hot streak, be my guest, but he's going to be overowned due to his, you know, recent output and him only playing 18 to 20 minutes. He's going to bust at high ownership, like 30%. That's not high, but you get what I mean. And I'm going to be licking my chops. So, Jordan Poole, you guys knew I was extremely high on for tournaments last night. Kind of mad at myself I didn't get to play him, but yeah. Kind of concerning he did only play 23 minutes and he played the whole fourth quarter. Now I don't know who would have closed for Golden State, so maybe he still would have played that whole fourth quarter. But just be careful here. It's Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr can do anything. They clearly wanted to go to GP2 in the first half. Um, so Jordan Poole is nothing more than a contrarian play for me, kind of like Kevon Looney. I think both are very, very risky options. If I had to choose one, it would be Jordan Poole because I think Jordan Poole has a better chance to get extended minutes-wise, especially if he is playing well. So yeah, those two guys, nothing more than contrarian options for me. But I think if I preferred one, it would be Jordan Poole. Also, kind of concerning, Otto Porter Jr. only played 15 minutes last game. Now, like I said, if the game didn't blow out, he probably gets like a fourth quarter stint for like 3, 4, 5 minutes. So I'm going to assume we probably get 15 to 20 minutes from Otto Porter Jr. We got to keep an eye on Andre Iguodala news. That could change some things. So it's really important for you guys to go over to Reddit. But if Andre's out and we're getting 15 to 20 minutes of Otto Porter Jr. and possibly more if he's shooting the ball well and gets extended, I still think he's a decent value play. But I definitely do prefer the cheaper guys, and I definitely do prefer Derek White over him. But Gary Payton, like I said, if Andre Iguodala is out, I'm going to be going right back to Gary Payton. It seems like Steve Kerr wants to play him. He was on pace for a lot of minutes, played a lot of first half minutes. He's a guy stuffed the stat sheet, very good defender, can get you block steals. You know, he can basically do everything. That's a guy I want to roster at 3K. If Andre Iguodala is out, we can expect 20 minutes from GP2. He is just too cheap. He should be around 5 to 5.5K. He'll be a staple in my lineup. If Andre Iguodala is in, then I think there's still risk with Gary Payton. I think Gary Payton will definitely still be in the rotation, but I don't know how many minutes he will play. That's why it's important to go to DFS Sports. I will make updates when we get all that news on what I think will happen. Bielitsa I called being into the rotation last night. Everyone was saying that Golden State was going to run an 8-man rotation. I thought Bielitsa was actually going to play, and I was right. So if Andre Iguodala is out, I would assume they run the same rotation from last game. And I would assume around 8 to 10 minutes from Bielitsa. So 2.2K I think is a playable option, but I would definitely prefer just getting up to GP2. Bielitsa is, you know, a very good point per minute guy, you know, a very good rebounder, decent offensively, So yeah, he can still pay off this price tag easily if he plays 10 minutes, so I don't hate it. And then Andre Iguodala, if he plays, it's going to be interesting to see what Steve Kerr does, right? Because we all know Steve Kerr loves Andre Iguodala, so I would expect him to be in the rotation. And what I think would happen would be GP2 plays the same minutes and Andre Iguodala just takes Bielitsa's minutes. So if Andre plays, I think he's definitely a solid pump play at 1K. But just so you know, Steve Kerr is never to be trusted ever. Let's go over Boston. Warriors fifth in pace and sixth in defensive rating. So Jason Tatum 10.8K. I mean, I love him here. I think it's pretty easy to fit Stephen Tatum in your lineup once again here. He was absolutely mashing, got pulled because of the blowouts. I think minutes wise, 40 plus. A guy that can do more stuffing the stat sheet over Steph Curry. So if I had to lean on one, I think Tatum is definitely safer. I think Steph has a little bit more upside, but I think both are similar. But yeah, absolutely love Tatum. I think Jaylen Brown's a solid option too. He'll probably play around 40 minutes. Clear number two in usage wise on this team. You know, good shooter, good rebounder. Fine with Jaylen Brown, but I definitely do prefer Tatum. Marcus Smart only played 25 minutes last game, but I think in a close game he plays 35 plus. And after having a extremely floor game at being at high ownership, I'm expecting that ownership to drop a ton. I'm expecting Marcus Smart to be extremely underowned on the slate. The price went down. So for tournaments, yes, I think Smart makes for a great tournament option on this slate. I think Al Horford makes for a good tournament option on this slate because he had a bad game. The ownership is going to drop. Those are guys that I want to target on showdown slates. You got to get different somewhere. So people are going to fade Al Horford and Marcus Smart because they had bad games last game. Give me all the Marcus Smart and Al Horford. Now, I definitely do prefer Draymond over Al Horford. Smart over Draymond, it's pretty close for me. I don't have a lean, but like I said, if these guys are not going to get ownership because they have bad games, sign me up for them. But, Al Horford's a guy it's going to take some shots, a decent shooter, going to take 3-point shots, a good rebounder. Robert Williams is losing minutes, so Al Horford is getting more 5 minutes, kind of similar like Draymond Green. So that kind of boosts his floor and ceiling as well. I'm expecting Al Horford to shoot more than 4 times and be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. So yeah, I think Horford makes for a good option in the mid range. And then Robert Williams, same thing with Looney kind of. He's just hurt, man. You can tell he's hurt. So it's really hard to get to Robert Williams, in my opinion. And then once again, I'm all over Derek White. I don't care that he's going to be popular. You know, he has a role in this team, right? So I'm expecting 30 minutes from Derek White. A guy that can come off the bench, give them exterior scoring. You know, exterior 3-point shooting as well. He'll handle the ball some as well, so he can get you peripheral stats. So yeah, Derek White I think makes for a really good mid-range option on the slate. Grant Williams played 20 minutes last game. He's a guy that needs minutes to pay off his price tag since he's a very low usage guy and he's more out there for his defense. So I personally, I will not be getting to any Grant Williams. I definitely do prefer Peyton Pritchard over Grant Williams if you're going to go to one of those guys, just because Peyton Pritchard's actually a pretty good point per minute guy. A guy that's going to stuff the statute while he's out there, a guy that's going to be aggressive on the offensive end as well. And if anyone gets into foul trouble on the Celtics, it's going to be Peyton Pritchard coming in, like outside of like Al Horford maybe. So like if Smart's getting into foul trouble, it's Peyton Pritchard coming in. Tatum getting into foul trouble might be Peyton Pritchard coming in. It could be Grant Williams, but in the past we've seen Peyton Pritchard benefit from foul trouble. So I think Pritchard's an interesting dart throw for tournaments, just because I think he'll probably play around 10 minutes if the game stays close, and then could get extended if anyone gets into foul trouble. And I will mention Daniel Tice. He was in the regular rotation. Minutes wise for him, without the blowout, probably 5 to 7 minutes. So 1.6K, I think is a fine dart. But definitely do prefer those Golden State guys. So yeah, that'll be it, guys. Like I said, go over to DFS Sports, talk to me over there, ask me anything. outside of like direct pivots. Can't post full lineups, etc. So yeah, have a good night. Hope to talk to you guys in the next coming days.